Welcome back, guys. I'm Jordan, and this is the fifth video in the CSC-251 Advanced Java Programming tutorial, and today I'll be discussing packages, applications, and applets. Today's topics will include packages, what they are and how to make and use them. After that, I'll be discussing applications versus applets, the pros and cons of each. What is a package and why would we use one? A package is a grouping of similar and related types and functions. A graphics package groups graphics material. A network package groups network material. We use packages because they offer access protection and namespace management. The chances of two classes having the same name or function name is very high. File.copy, array.copy, list.copy, etc. Packages make it easier to use these types without running into overlapping problems or conflictions or into name ambiguity. I'm going to go over some basics of package creation, starting with naming conventions. Packages are all lowercase, with no hyphens or special characters. Companies also often reverse their domain names for the package base. Other than that, package names are generally just related to the content. A part of a graphics package involving squares will be called graphics.square. To actually change Java class files to be part of a package, the package statement with its name needs to be at the top of every file. When I say the top, I don't just mean generally up there, I mean the very first line of the file. There are several different ways of using packages depending on your needs. You can use the fully qualified name, which is the package name and its member names. You can also import an individual type from a package, or you can import an entire package itself. Shared names between types will work as long as you use the fully qualified names. For example, file.copy and array.copy. If you don't use the fully qualified name, Java will assume you meant the last imported type. Static imports allow you to import constants and constantly used functions with just one import statement. Afterward, you don't have to use the fully qualified name. This is useful but dangerous and shouldn't be used often. People can easily lose track of what package a static import came from. As a note, since this is a constant mistake new programmers make, importing a package's member contents doesn't import the member itself. As we see in the example here, importing package.member.star doesn't import package.member. Now we're going to change topics and move to applications versus applets. Let's start off with some basic differences between the two. First, an application is executed on the OS, while an applet is executed inside a browser or other third-party software. This main difference leads to and explains many of the others. Applications have a main thread. Applets usually extend an AWT or swing class. Finally, applets are really meant to be interactive, to respond to user input. They aren't meant for background processing. That's part of the application's purview. Now onto some pros and cons of applications. First, they're faster since they're executed on the OS by the installed JRE. They're also able to use more resources than applets, and they're standalone, meaning they don't require being embedded in a browser or other software. On the other hand, these same pros lead to the application's cons. Using more resources obviously leaves a bigger footprint on the system, and Java apps can be very resource intensive. Applications are also dangerous since they gain the privileges of whatever user executed the program. Now, we move on to applets. Applets can greatly enhance your internet browsing experience, allowing you to do things that simply couldn't be done with HTML alone. They're also very convenient. They don't require installation and can be easily inserted into a web page. Programming-wise, the GUI code is often less messy since they rely on the third party, i.e. the browser, for implementing many functions. Applets do require being downloaded internally by the browser before they'll run, and they have to be re-downloaded every time you clear your cache. This can lead to very slow startup times if your connection or the hosting site is slow. Finally, we get to security. Actual applet security is horrible, and so they are greatly restricted by the host to protect the user. This limits what they can do since they don't have access to any system resources. To review what we've gone over today, I've discussed Java packages, what they are and how to make and use them. We've also gone over applications and applets, what their differences are, and the pros and cons of each. Next time, I'll be explaining Java's generic methods. Until then, thanks for watching.